Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports Media Update. All right, so we're going to talk Lin Dunn again. Now, I did a previous video about Lin Dunn giving praise to Caitlin Clark, but she did an interview with Locked On Women's Basketball, and I think this was a day ago or yesterday. It was like over about 30, almost 40 minutes. And they were showing some clips on X, and which it was showing one part, but it was it was more to it than what it is. And which I got the full clip, but I only took the section that I needed. So if you want to watch the whole video, I will leave the description. I will leave the link in the description. So be sure when you watch the video, look in the description, and there's the full video of everything as well. So Lin Dunn, she was asked several questions about the team as they was at the beginning of the season and what they at now. Now, she gave a lot of praise to Caitlin for what Caitlin has went through from the beginning of the season, the physicality, the tough scheduling, how her team has adjusted to her as well. She alluded to a lot of different things. So, and then I also have Christie Sides talking yesterday after practice about she had to sit down with Caitlin and asked Caitlin what she think the direction of the team needs to go, and which that's very, very, very important. So I'm gonna start off with the first clip of Lin Dunn talking with the gentleman from Locked On Women's Basketball.
Together through adversity, as you know, is a real challenge. And so my belief coming in, and this was my hot take coming into the season, was that this is a team that's going to be better, faster than I think some people were assuming. I thought this was a team that had a chance not just to make the playoffs, but make some noise in the playoffs. As you look at this overall landscape where there's no obvious team that can't be beat. New York is number one, but you guys have beaten New York. You know, this is a year that feels more wide open than the WNBA has felt in a long time. I wonder whether you see it that way. And I'm not looking to sort of get you on for any sort of predictions or guarantees, but more like, does it feel like there's a chance to get a little ahead of where you thought you'd be at the start of the season?
I think you're right, Howard. I think the real question was, how was Caitlin Clark going to adapt as a rookie to the next level? How was she going to be as a pro? Was she going to be able to score? Was she going to be able to pass? Was she going to be able to lead a team just like she did Iowa? Was she going to be able to do that as a rookie? Was she strong enough? Was she physically tough enough? Was she mentally tough enough? And so I think we've seen that. We've seen her go from a baby rookie to a grown-up rookie mid-season here, and doing some things that I don't think anybody thought she was able to do. And I think that may have been why they left her off the Olympic team, that they didn't think she was ready. And I think now, as we see her, we see that she's more than ready, and then she's more than adapted to what's been thrown at her. And so I think that's going to be a key, because she makes everybody better. She makes Aaliyah better, because when they work together in the pick and roll, the pick and pop, the pick and whatever action they're doing that's so beautiful, and she makes Kelsey better. She makes everybody better. And so that's the direction we go now. Okay, how do we continue to grow? And how do we get better in two areas that I think we need to grow in? And that's defensively, we need to continue to get better. We still need to grow our knowledge of our special situations. Let's make sure that we're really functioning at a high level in all those areas. So special situation and defense would be the two areas I'd say we've really got to grow over the break.
It's interesting. You talk about how much she makes everyone better. And during that 15-game span, you guys are fourth in the lead in true shooting percentage. And yes, a lot of that is her, but a lot of that is not her. The last 6 games in particular, it kind of blows your mind. And you talked about the Olympic team. And I know Dawn Staley had some comments recently. And it is worth noting, by the way, that everyone should be aware the committee ultimately decides this. I feel like Cheryl Reeve has gotten a lot of blowback over this. She's ultimately.
All right. Well, you hear what she had to say, that how Caitlin makes everybody better. And even in this interview, Lin Dunn even talked about how Kelsey Mitchell has benefit more so now with that, because even in the interview, she stated that they have 4 players that gets in double figures. That's Caitlin, Kelsey, Leah, and Alyssa Smith. And the main thing that us sees, I think I wish Linda would touch on it, is the other role players on the team, like the Lexis, like the Katie Lou, even mentioned Grace Berger, the Timmy Fan Bentley, the oh my gosh, I have a name on the tip of my tongue. Damaris Dantas. They have to contribute as well, because you have 4 players in double figures, but at the same time, we have seen Alyssa Smith be off. And then if she's off, you only getting scoring from Kelsey, Clark, and Boston. So therefore, you need somebody else to start scoring. Dantas has been picking up a little bit of scoring. I want to see her get more, because I think, to me, I feel like Dantas' 3-point shooting is more significant than Katie Lou's 3-point shooting. Yeah, Katie Lou gets the start, but at the same time, I still want to see Dantas be able to, because she could run pick and roll too, and she could do pick and pop, and she has a mid range. I think in the second half of the season, you probably will see Damaris Dantas pick it up a little bit more in the scoring department, and that's going to be crucial for bench scoring as well. Something that I alluded to a long time ago in a lot of my videos, if y'all have checked it out, is that bench scoring is very, very important for this team. Because you can have your starters scoring, but if your bench is not giving you significant minutes or significant scoring, it's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you, especially if you get Leah in foul trouble, or you get an Alyssa in foul trouble. You see, when Katie Lou gets in foul trouble, her scoring suffers. We use Lexi not as a scorer, mainly for defensive purposes. She gets her points usually from transition. You know what I'm saying? I would love to see Grace Berger get some burn. You're going to have to throw out the whole kitchen sink with this team in order for them to really start expanding in the second half of the season. You can't just play half-ass and say, oh, well, it's got to be defense all the time. And if you really want to make it about defense, then you need to allow Grace Berger to get played like she did early in the season. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to probably say, hey, let's see what Victoria Saxon has. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to just utilize personnel. You're going to have to see where the defense going to have to come at, and where Caitlin, and you keep Caitlin, Leah, and Kelsey on the floor and run. Lexi is that other component for the 5 minutes or that second half in the game. Lexi could start, and then with Alyssa Smith, I think that's something that you could try in the second half of the season. Don't put so much pressure on Katie Lou to start. Let Lexi take that start, because Lexi's scoring doesn't really bother you that much. You want her for defensive purposes, and that's when you can run out of transition, because Lexi can run. And so And then you could bring a Katie Lou in. You could bring a Damaris Johnson in. Erica Wheeler gonna have to probably, she's gonna have to learn how to pass the ball back to Caitlin. And this is something that Christie Sides needs to allude to, because if you're sitting down and asking Caitlin these questions and Caitlin's telling you, you need to be the coach to say, hey, okay, let's start implementing this here. Let's do what Caitlin likes. Because like we talked about I talked about in my other video, that maybe Lin Dunn is seeing some stuff that she's probably saying, hey, we need to do this because the team is playing a little bit better when Caitlin flows like this, and instead of just keep worrying about working in the post, because now that Leah and Caitlin has gotten a lot of success together, it's helping out the others, and that's what you need, the others. Now, the second part of this interview with Lin Dunn is very crucial, because she specifically talks about players coming to Indiana and they looking to be more assertive to where they could catch the eye of free agents that want to come and play with Leah Boston and play with Caitlin. And before I get my thoughts on that, I'll let y'all listen to it, and then I'll tell you what's need to happen for all of that to take place.
Well, I think that's the bottom line. Players want to win. Players want to play for a championship. Players want to be in the playoffs. And so when you're going out in free agency, you have to sell these players on, if you come here, here's what's going to happen. We're not only going to get better, we're not only going to compete, we're going to be in the playoffs. We're going to be 6, 7, 8. Next year, we're going to be 4, 5, and 6. And then the next thing we're doing is we're challenging for championships. And so you have to sell these players on this plan. And you have to have the resources, you have to have the facilities, you have to have the support. Your ownership has to be all in. And I think we're right in line with all the teams that are winning championships with what we can do for our players. We just have to have the opportunity to show them this is what we're doing and this is how we're doing it. And so it's an exciting time. Do you want to play with Aaliyah Boston? Do you want to play with Caitlin Clark? And let's be honest, Howard, the performance that she put on at the All-Star game versus our Olympic team, didn't that send a message how skilled and how talented and how tough she is? My goodness gracious. Not only is she out there on the court as a rookie, but she's playing against our Olympic team, the best in the world. And what does she have? 10 assists? And trust me, they're not allowing those assists if they can.
All right, so you hear that part right there. And my thoughts on this is that in order for free agents to come to Indiana to play with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, you going to have to make a coaching change at the end of the season. I do not care what this season looks like with the playoffs, because going forward, if teams looking at how Caitlin and Leah Boston playing on the Christie Sides, and they looking at Christie Sides as a coach that does not know what they're doing, and they already seeing it, they're gonna be like, well, we want to play with Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston, but your coach is not good. And then guess what? That's gonna leave Caitlin and Aaliyah in another situation going into the next year, not getting the quality players that's going to fit that system, fit their system or Caitlin Clark's system to move forward, to be able to be a 4 and a 5 in the playoff next year. Because to get to 4 and 5, you're going to have to surround them with really good quality players and players that could come off the bench. You can't have this same group of players going into next year and say, oh, well, we could be 4 and 5. No, you're not going to be 4 and 5. You're going to still be probably a 6, 7, or 8 seed. And you want to get in that 4 or 5 bracket. The only way to do that is like Linda just described. You're going to have to change some things. And the first thing you're going to have to do is change your coach. You're going to have to get a coach that's going to attract these players, because there are some decent free agents in this year coming up that they damn sure probably want to go and play with Caitlin. You already see now that the Phoenix owner, the Phoenix players, they all over there recruiting Caitlin, trying to get her to come to Phoenix. And maybe now Lin Dunn is starting to see this like, no, look, we can't allow this to happen. Because the guy, Howard, he alluded to this in his interview about players have the option to opt out their contract in 2026. And damn sure, you best believe Lin Dunn is aware of this. And the only way she could prevent the Leo Boston and Caitlin Clark from opting out their contract, she has to fire Christie Sides at the end of the season. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Say, hey, thank you for getting us this far. We got the rest. You know what I'm saying? Because Christie Sides cannot take this team any further than what Caitlin and Aaliyah Boston is going to be able to. And to get to the next level, you have to have a coach that's a next level coach, point blank and period. Now, moving along, I do have one last clip to show you, and it's about Christie Sides. She talked about the team coming back, the team practicing. She emphasized on defense again. And she always emphasizes on defense, but she never followed up on defense the way she's supposed to. And this is why I said a few minutes ago is that she needs to let Lexi Hall start with that starting unit with the with Kelsey Mitchell, with Leo Boston, with Nalisa Smith, with Caitlin Clark. Then have mix Katie Lou in with Tammy Fan Bentley, or you got Damiris Dantas to use as a backup for Leo Boston, so that's good. So when Tammy Fan Bentley come back, you can mix and match Katie Lou's minutes with Tammy Fan Bentley to give Nalisa Smith a breather. And then you still going to have Katie Lou that could come in for Alexi Hall, or you could use Grace Berger to do the same thing. So there's things on this bench that you can do. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to have to do this. But I'm allowing y'all to listen to what Christie Sides had to say. Then I'm going to chime in.
What'd you do?
I slept and I laid in the sun. It was great. I slept and laid in the sun.
We talked about Caitlin about golfing. Did you golf at all?
Twice. I got 2 little 9 holes in. Not 18. I wasn't ready for 18. I could play every day though. I do love it. And I've tried to I need to get Grace out on the golf course. Maybe she might kick my ass.
What was today about for you guys? The rusting? Is it a specific focus? What's this week going to be like today?
Yeah, just, we just keep talking about just kind of getting the muck off. Like, I wanted them to go and just relax, but as a pro athlete, a lot of them weren't going to do that. But, I think they did go get some rest, just looking to get their legs under them.
Have you learned from past Olympic breaks what it takes to come out of that stronger in any way?
Yeah, I had some that were on the Olympic team the last time I was in an Olympic break situation. So we were down, some of our top players. This is great. This is great. We have, other than Christy Wallace, which we were missing her, but good luck to her. We're able to get a lot of good work in, a lot of good breakdown stuff in that's just going to help us in the long run.
Kind of an awkward approach of having to wait so long for a game. Can you do too much with them right now?
We kind of it's a balancing act. It is, because that's a long time before you play. So it's just about finding ways to get better, finding ways to keep having fun playing basketball, even doing other things off the basketball court. We've really got a lot of things planned for players that are non-basketball related, just team stuff or team bonding and chemistry. So, and they get into that stuff. So it's fun.
What do you hope is the feel for the next couple of weeks? Like a mini training camp combined with, Caitlin mentioned how there's already that chemistry. Now you're just trying to build on that.
Yeah, I think you can keep getting better with that chemistry. And I actually just sat and talked with her and just got her thoughts on what some of that is like, what we need to do, what she thinks these next couple weeks. And that's just what we keep talking about. The more they play together, the more that chemistry just builds, and then the more we can just, tweak things here and there. But I love where we ended. I know, Dallas, that was a tough one. But I love getting them a break, sitting with 11 wins, 14 to go, sitting in 7th place. We just want to keep getting better, be ready for Phoenix when they come.
Kim was saying that the mental break might be as important or more than the physical break. Did you have any specific advice for her just how to approach this period and build into the second half?
Yeah, I think she had talked about she didn't know if she could turn it off. And, that just is what she really needed after coming off that college season. Like I was like, Caitlin, just step away and breathe. And I think she really did that, and she was ready to get back in here when we came in yesterday for a little bit.
Defense is obviously, it sounds like, the priority of this. How do you go about drilling that and improving upon that without the game?
Yeah, they love that. They love that.
Sure.
It was,
Yep.
You know, I'm sure that she talked about how much she loved the defensive work that we're doing. But that's just where we are, and that's where we have to get better. I mean, you know, we've got to do a better job of keeping people in front of us. We've got to do a better job of pressuring the basketball. You know, our transition defense has a lot to do with us and our turnovers. So, like, that's another piece. But we've just got in the half court, team defense is so important.
We saw Timmy, I think, with like a cast. Any updates you can provide on her?
Yeah, she's going to get to the doctor, I think, around the 5th, and we will have, they're going to look at it and see kind of where she is, and hopefully we can start progressing in a good direction after that.
Do you want to use the standings as a motivator down the stretch, or you try to tell them to ignore it and play everything?
We talk about it. I mean, we talk about that's our goal. I mean, making the playoffs is our goal. We're sitting in a playoff, you know, position right now. We have to keep getting better to put ourselves where we're not hoping people are losing games or, you know, waiting till the end. Like, we want to be a playoff team this year. I'll take 8, 7, 6. It doesn't matter to me.
All right, so you hear that from Christie Sides. Now, the most important part of this is that I want to allude to is that she said that she sat down and talked to Caitlin about what the team needs, what direction should the team be going into. And I hope, for goodness sakes, that Christie Sides listen to Caitlin, because Caitlin Clark IQ is so high, and it's so very important that your star player and your coach be on the same page. If Christie Sides allows Caitlin to harness her abilities the way she needs to on the court, and just like how Phil Jackson did with Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, he allowed them to be who they are on the court, but they always talking about what they see on the court, where it can make the team a little bit better. Once Christie Sides builds that trust and confidence, because I still don't think Christie Sides trusts Caitlin enough. And then Caitlin, we going to see how much this is going to take place when the season kicks off on the 16th of August. Because the fact of the matter is that what we have seen for Christie Sides, the first 25 games, the pulling, the yelling, you know, Caitlin blowing up at her on the sideline, this is all now going to Lin Dunn. Lin Dunn has to be the intermediary and say, look, y'all got to get on the same page. Okay, Chrissy, you're going to have to trust Caitlin. You see what she could do on the court. Okay, now we're going to have to navigate that way. Let the system be Caitlin's system. You just have to put the pieces around her. And I don't think Christie Sides can do that, because Christie Sides, to me, is an ego statistic. She's a control freak. And the first couple of games, the first 3 or 4 games of the second half is going to be very, very telling on how this team is going to make that playoff run. Because if she's sitting here saying, we already know that Christie Sides says one thing in these interviews and do completely the opposite when it comes to game time. So my thing is this here. Christie Sides need to, if you sat down with Caitlin, then hey, take heed to what your superstar player has to say, because it's going to work to make it better. And if this team performs hella good, if they somehow jump into the 6th spot in the playoffs and they playing phenomenal and they are a threat, and teams look at them like, oh, we can't take them for granted, then guess what that's going to do? It'll make Christie Sides look good. But again, I say this again, I emphasize this again. Lin Dunn still needs to fire Christie Sides at the end of the season. No ifs, ands, buts about it, because the fact of the matter is, players want to play with Boston and Clark and Mitchell. They want to play with them, and they see what Caitlin Clark can do. They see what Caitlin Clark can do with the players. They want that. You have to change the coach to get that, to make that happen. So I say this to say this to Lin Dunn. I was supposed to do a video on the second half of the season, what I'm looking for, and I'm gonna still do that video. But this monologue between Lin Dunn and Christie Sides kind of helped move that talking piece a little further along. And I will get into it and probably over the weekend sometime. I don't know. When I do, I'll let you know. But give me your thoughts on Lin Dunn's assessment. Like I said, I will put the full length of the video for Locked On Women's Basketball in the description. You can check it out fully. Leave your comments, likes, subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. Help me out with the algorithm. You know, a lot of us do Caitlin Clark's content. It will be helpful. You check out mine and give me your thoughts. Like I said, give me your thoughts, likes, and comments, and continue to support the channel. Until then, this your boy Livewire Sports Media, and you know what it is. We out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's